Many people think Arctic dogs are all about looks, but the truth is way more fascinating. Beneath that coat are incredible adaptations, unique behaviors, and a story that goes far beyond the ice. In this video, you'll discover 15 surprising facts about northern dogs that will make you see them in a whole new way. You'll see why many consider them some of the most fascinating animals on Earth. They have a double coat that protects them from the cold. Ever wonder how a husky or a Samoyed can sleep on snow without freezing? The answer is in their coat. It's not just pretty, it's a true marvel of natural engineering. These breeds have two layers, the outer one, called guard hairs, made of long, stiff hairs that repel water and ice, almost like a built-in raincoat. Underneath is the undercoat, a thermal padding that traps warm air close to the skin and keeps their temperature steady, even in the coldest climates. Add small, well-furred ears and a thick tail they wrap over their nose like a scarf to warm the air they breathe when they sleep, curled up. Thanks to this natural coat, they handle extreme temperatures with ease. In summer, that same system insulates so well that shaving isn't a good idea, since the coat also protects the skin and helps regulate temperature. They shed almost their entire coat when spring arrives. As the snow begins to melt and the days get longer, northern dogs kick off one of nature's most impressive changes, the spring shed. Their bodies pick up the rise in daylight and temperature and respond by dropping the dense undercoat that kept them warm through winter. Within days, tufts float through the air and your home looks like it had its own indoor snowstorm. This process, known as seasonal shedding, not only makes them look lighter, it also improves skin ventilation and helps prevent overheating. Daily brushing and a lukewarm bath help remove dead hair and keep the outer coat healthy. After a few weeks, their summer coat is ready, shorter, airier, and set for more running under the northern sun. Their paws have a built-in system that prevents freezing. Did you know the most impressive thing about Arctic dogs isn't their coat, it's their paws? They can run on ice for hours without their feet freezing, thanks to an amazing built-in mechanism they're born with. Their paws use a system called counter-current heat exchange. Researchers in Japan found that in the pads, the arteries that carry warm blood from the heart are surrounded by veins that return cooler blood. That opposite flow lets heat from the arterial blood transfer to the venous blood before it travels back through the body. The result? Paws stay in the sweet spot, warm enough to avoid freezing without wasting heat. That way, the blood returning to the heart is already pre-warmed, minimizing heat loss. This radiator-like system is similar to what penguins and seals use, and explains how a husky can run on ice with bare paws without frostbite. Their feet work like snowshoes. Northern dogs are naturally built to move over snow with ease. They have wide, rounded, compact paws that spread their weight as if they had built-in snowshoes. Dense fur grows between the toes, boosting traction and insulating the pads from direct contact with ice, almost like wearing thermal boots. Strong, curved claws act like tiny crampons, helping them move across slick ice without losing stability. That design reduces sinking in powder and prevents the kind of bogging down that would tire any dog out. Out on the tundra, that balance between float and grip is the difference between moving forward and getting stuck. It's a perfect adaptation. Their black noses protect them from the polar sun's glare. Beneath that thick fur, there's a subtle detail. The most exposed skin areas, like the nose, lips, and eyelid edges, are dark. That pigmentation isn't random. It's an adaptation to the intense sunlight reflecting off snow. Eumelanin, the dark pigment that also colors skin and hair, works like a natural filter that shields against UV and helps prevent burns, cracking, and dehydration. Just like polar bears have black skin under white fur to absorb heat from the sun, light-coated Arctic dogs benefit from this so-called polar melanin. Early explorers noticed that sled dogs with lighter noses were more prone to cracking and chapping in sun and cold. Their coat practically self-cleans thanks to natural oils. Did you know northern dogs almost never have that typical doggy smell? It might feel like magic, but the secret is in the kind of hair they have. Nordic breeds have an outer layer with very tight cuticles plus natural oils that act like a rain jacket. Because of that, water and dirt beat off, and dried mud usually just falls away without staining. Even when they're wet, they barely smell because they produce less surface grease than many other breeds. This water-repellent coat keeps the undercoat from getting soaked and protects the skin from maceration and fungal issues. In polar regions, that trait was prized since dogs slept beside people in tents, without leaving a trace of odor. Snow even works like a natural shampoo. When they roll in it, it carries away dust and dead hair. So with regular brushing and the occasional gentle bath, their coat stays shiny, clean, and naturally protected. They can run for hours without showing fatigue. Siberian Huskies and Alaskan Huskies can cover more than 60 miles in a single day and keep going like it's nothing. What's even crazier is that after just a few hours of rest, they're ready to do it again. The secret lies in how their bodies work. They have exceptional aerobic capacity and use fat as their primary fuel thanks to a process called beta oxidation that helps them spare glycogen and delay fatigue. In ultra-long races like the Iditarod, they run about 1,000 miles in just 9 to 12 days, pushing through sub-zero conditions and extreme winds. The wildest part is their metabolism resets after the first few days, returning to normal levels even while they keep running. Few studied mammals show anything like it. That's why people say huskies are the true ultramarathoners of the Arctic. They communicate through howls and rhythmic barks. In northern regions where ice and silence cover everything, a dog's voice can be their best work tool. Huskies don't howl just for fun, they do it for acoustic precision. Their howls travel long distances and bounce off the snow, helping dogs stay in touch with each other or with the musher when the wind wipes out other cues. The Finnish Spitz uses a different strategy. They fire off controlled rhythmic bark bursts to point a hunter to a bird, like a biological sonar. Meanwhile, the Laponian herder and the Swedish Lapphund move reindeer with sharp, pulsed sounds, never touching the animals, steering them by tonal changes. Each breed has developed a kind of language tuned to its environment, a vocal toolkit where acoustics, frequency, and intent become true communication tools. They're independent, but they know how to work as a team. Did you know Arctic dogs are as independent as they are cooperative? It might sound contradictory, but that blend is exactly what makes them special. A lead husky doesn't just follow orders. They read the wind, the terrain, and even the sound of the ice under their paws before choosing where to go. If they sense danger, they change course without waiting for the musher, and the rest of the team follows without hesitation. Behind them, a Malamute keeps steady power while another dog fine-tunes steering in the turns. Every team member knows their role, yet they all adapt to the situation. That flexible hierarchy comes from centuries of work in extreme conditions. At home, it's similar. If they understand the why behind what you ask, they work with you, not out of blind obedience, but because they trust you and enjoy doing it together. They have practical, problem-solving intelligence. Nordic dogs aren't just strong. They're incredibly smart. Their intelligence isn't theoretical. It's hands-on, the kind that solves real problems. The Icelandic sheepdog can memorize herding routes and make shortcuts when the terrain changes, proof of impressive spatial memory. The Norwegian Buhund is another northern whiz. They can open latches, recognize tools, and even chain actions together toward a goal. And the small Swedish Valhund, despite their size, judges distances with amazing precision to guide livestock without getting stepped on. Even a seasoned husky can detect fragile ice by the sound or the texture under their paws. None of this is luck. It's the result of understanding-based learning, a highly developed way of thinking. If you motivate them with tasks that make sense, they respond with smart choices and teamwork that looks instinctive, but is really clear canine reasoning. They keep their cool even in extreme situations. Some northern dogs are true masters of self-control. When everything ramps up, they steady their breathing, stay composed, and think before they act. The Norwegian Elkhound, for example, holds a precise distance from a moose and barks just enough to hold it without triggering an aggressive reaction. The Karelian bear dog does something similar with bears. They don't attack, they apply calculated pressure with quick, elastic movements, avoiding direct contact. And the Samoyed, with that easygoing temperament, paces their energy and can work for hours without losing composure. In technical terms, they have a high reactivity threshold and excellent self-regulation. If you offer predictable routines at home plus exercise and clear tasks, you'll see that steady temperament day to day. These are dogs that prefer a good decision over a bad reaction. They read the environment and choose the safe option. They've been essential allies to Inuit peoples. Did you know many Inuit communities wouldn't have survived the Arctic without their dogs? For them, the Kimit, their name for the Greenland dog, and the Canadian Inuit dog were far more than working animals. They were family. These dogs pulled sleds for endless days, distributing their weight precisely to avoid breaking the ice. They could also navigate whiteout blizzards when the horizon vanished. At night, their noses picked up polar bears long before any person could, and they'd bark to alert the camp. They even located seal breathing holes under the ice, a blend of instinct and training. Inside the shelters, they shared warmth with families and watched over the children while everyone slept. Today, even though snowmobiles took over part of the job, Kimit still symbolize loyalty and survival in the Arctic. A dog named Togo saved lives by defying a storm. In 1925, Alaska witnessed one of the most impressive stories of the bond between people and dogs. During the diphtheria outbreak in Nome, a Siberian husky named Togo led the longest and most dangerous leg of the Great Serum Run. Togo was already 12, considered old for a sled dog, but that instinct and experience were irreplaceable. In the middle of the storm, Togo stopped cold and refused to go on, disobeying a direct order from the musher, Leonhard Sapala. It wasn't stubbornness, it was intuition. To go read the ice through scent, sound, and the vibrations felt under the paws, detecting a broken section. That smart disobedience is what saved the team. And that wasn't all. Later, when an ice floe trapped them, Togo swam through icy water to carry a rope to firm ice and save the team. It was more than 250 miles of continuous leadership in cutting wind and near-zero visibility. That courage proved that sometimes real leadership doesn't just obey, it decides. They share an ancestral origin with the Arctic wolf. Few dogs can claim to be this close to their wild ancestors. The Greenland dog and the Canadian Inuit dog maintain a direct connection to Arctic wolves, a genetic line that stayed almost intact over centuries. Their history is tied to the Thule people, who used them to pull sleds, navigate snowstorms, and survive in a place where a single mistake could be fatal. You can see that heritage at a glance. Triangular ears, a broad chest for better oxygen intake, and a tail that curls over the nose when they sleep to conserve heat. You can feel it in behavior too. They're social, resilient, and have a strong pack instinct. Their DNA still holds genes linked to fat metabolism and thermoregulation, the same ones that let them keep running, hunting, and living where almost nothing else can. Some were revered as symbols of strength and loyalty. In Northern Europe, dogs were seen as symbols of honor and fidelity. In Viking tombs like the famous Gokstad burial, remains of dogs have been found laid to rest with their owners, a sign of respect that shows how important they were. They weren't just working animals, they were loyal companions who shared life, journeys, and even death. Breeds like the Norwegian Elkhound, brave and alert in the hunt, or the Swedish Lapphund, patient and steady with reindeer, represent that special bond between people and northern dogs. Their likeness appears in ancient engravings, flags, and stories that spoke of strength, loyalty, and companionship. And even though centuries have passed, that symbolism is still alive. For people who live in the cold, a good dog does more than protect. They honor you and stay by your side to the very end. There you have it, the 15 most fascinating curiosities about Arctic dogs. Now I recommend watching the video on screen. In it, I walk you through the 18 things that quietly hurt your dog's feelings. Tap the image to open the video and see them all.